welcome to the second episode of Pretty Please. This is the show where we talk about what it means to be beautiful from the inside out, or otherwise known as pretty. My guest this episode is a really special friend of mine. We are actually both from a small town in Ohio called Howland, Ohio. Shout out to Howland. She is a licensed esthetician of 11 years, and she's now the lead esthetician at VO Med Spa Fort Lauderdale. She is a lot of things, amongst them an acne expert. She just went through her bridal skincare journey herself, just got married in March. We'll dive into that later, of course. So welcome my friend, the Glow Queen, Ashley Pirouettes. And she has, like I said, been in the medical aesthetics industry for 11 plus years. You are an acne expert. You are a bride skin whisperer, as I once heard somebody say about you. You are the go-to girl for a glassy glow. You always have that shine and like radiance about yourself, not only on your skin, but like on your face. Your whole attitude when you come to work every day is always positive, which is amazing. So I love working with you now. So let's dive into, we got to get into the background first. And then we got to tell everybody how we ended up both sitting in these chairs together in Fort Lauderdale at VO Med Spa. It's kind of crazy. You never know who's going to come back into your life. But this has been amazing for me to see us like come back together as adults. Okay, so Howland, Ohio, small town in Ohio. We're Midwest girls. We were majorettes together. Let's start there. We have to. So tell everyone, I'm sure like there's a lot of people who don't know what a majorette is. Tell them what a majorette is.
Yes. Crazy that we've connected again.
Yeah.
Life is crazy.
It is.
But yeah, so a majorette in our small town was a big deal. It was a huge deal. It was the best of the best. It was a competition, but at the end of the day, we twirled our batons and we were part of the dance team for our football team. And we performed during halftime. We did band nights. And we also did other dances like off season during basketball and other performances with the band when we were not on the field during halftime.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a full-time job. So
it was.
This is what we did in high school together. And we were dancers our whole lives, competitive dance. So when did you start? Were you like 2 or 3 years old?
Yes, my mom put me in at 2, but I didn't handle it well. I was crying and I think I was just like too overwhelmed. So she tried again at 3 and it stuck.
Yeah.
Ever since. And it still sticks.
She wanted you in there early. My mom was the same. She was like, oh, you can walk? Okay, let's go to ballet.
Yeah.
So obviously before we like knew what we were doing, we were in, a dance studio, and like we grew up in a dance studio, and it's just such a like interesting like thing that we both like share now as adults. There's so many dance references. So
many.
So majorette in high school, we then had to like learn how to twirl a baton, which was like so random compared to what we did in dance.
Yes, and stressful.
Yeah, it was really stressful.
Dropping your baton.
It's a big no-no.
Was such a big deal. I was sweating over dropping my baton. That was such a big deal.
Yeah. I know when we were talking about doing this episode, I was joking with you. I'm like, do you bring your baton? Like, should we just...
I know. I was like, it's in my mom's storage, like in Ohio, but we'll never get rid of it. Like,
you can't.
Ever, ever, ever.
You have such a like trauma bond with that baton.
Oh my gosh, the biggest trauma bond. And if I dropped it, it was like the end of the world. It like ruined my week.
Yeah, like people don't understand. It was actually a lot of pressure. You were performing in front of not only your whole high school.
Your whole high school.
Your family came to see you. Like everybody in the small town, it's like literally like a cliche movie where everyone in the small town comes to watch the football game. That's how we grew up, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, by the way. I'm obsessed with how I grew up. Do you feel the same?
Yes, but I did not realize it though until I moved away.
That's true.
Because for some reason I thought that everyone lived like we lived.
Yeah.
Because that's all I knew.
Right.
I thought everyone lived in a small town like we did. Like I thought that everyone was like that. I thought everyone went to a high school very similar to ours, and I didn't realize it until I left. And I then realized like how lucky I really was growing up in such a small town with good values and morals, and it was just different pace, and I wouldn't trade it for the world either.
Yeah, I think it's like we're also a product of like the change in times too, right? Where now it's like, we got cell phones like maybe in like middle school, so we still had a little bit of time there. We're like the last people to like kind of go through school without the whole like social media like scene, which is really different. But also the element of being in a small town is like everything is just a little slower. Very slow, you're focused on, like you said, those core values like your home, your job, your school, your friends, and it's refreshing. Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
So when did you first like have that like epiphany that like life is different elsewhere?
I had that epiphany when I moved to Los Angeles. I went to Akron University first after graduating high school.
Yeah.
But I still felt that small town kind of feel even in college, because Akron is still may not be as small as Howland, but it was still such like a Ohio Midwest kind of thing, like Ohio College. It wasn't as big as Ohio State, but it was still an Ohio college, and
being close to home, like
it was being close to home.
I had the same. I mean, even being in Columbus, I could hop in the car. I went home for the weekends. I went home for the holidays. You still stick with like your high school friends when you come back. You see your family. And I guess, I don't know, you don't really have an image of what life is going to be like after that. You just kind of think it's always going to be like that.
I always thought it was going to be like that. Always.
Yeah, I know. It's such great memories, honestly. But I do love that you kind of took a leap of faith and then went to LA. Totally different, of course, across the country. How old were you when you did that?
I was 19.
Yeah, super young. I mean, like,
I was a baby.
Yeah, you don't think so then, again, like,
I thought I was like 30.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to do this and figure it out along the way, just like with anything else.
Yeah, I love that though. That's amazing. So when you decided you were going to go to LA, what was like the purpose or what was your reason at that time?
At that time, in college, I was a dance major, business minor. I loved college, but I didn't love the dance program at Akron. I just did not want to do college dance anymore. It's just, I tried it for a year, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do something with dance. I just didn't know where to go. I was either going to go to New York or I was going to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But
the two key choices for a dancer.
Choices.
Do I go Broadway? Yeah. Do I go showbiz?
Yeah.
Like what?
Do I go entertainment?
Yeah.
I originally planned to go to New York first because it was close to home.
Yeah.
And it was like an hour and a half flight. Like it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
But I always remember going to New York as a teenager with my dance studio, and I was like, I want to go out west. I haven't been out west. I only went one time when I was a freshman in high school, and then that was it. That was the only other time I was out there.
Yeah. And
so I just had this feeling. I was like, I'm just going to go try Los Angeles, and I went for 6 weeks in the summer after my freshman year of college.
Okay.
I signed up for a dance program with Millennium Dance Complex at the time. I stayed in a house with a bunch of girls that I did not know. They were all from all over the world: New Zealand, Australia, Europe. People from the States too. But
yeah,
it was fun. I had a blast.
Did you feel like homesick ever, or was it just like pure excitement? Or
in the beginning, I was very excited. I didn't even think about home.
Yeah.
But then towards the end of that program that I was doing, I started to feel homesick. I was like, oh, like I miss my friends. I miss my mom.
Yeah.
I miss my family. I miss my dog. I was just kind of craving that slower pace a little.
Yeah.
Again. So after those 6 weeks, I went home to visit. But during that time while I was home, I ended up getting signed with a dance agency. And then I went back to Los Angeles and I never came back.
That's so exciting. Yeah. What did you feel at that moment?
I was pumped.
Yeah.
I was not scared. I was just like, let's do this.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I always had in the back of my mind was that I'm still young. There's nothing holding me back. And I can always go back to college. I can move home if I wanted to. I was not married at the time. I didn't have children. I didn't have a boyfriend that was holding me back.
Yeah.
I was just young and
let's go.
I was like, let's go. I can't dance forever.
That's true.
So if I'm going to do it, let's do it now.
Yeah.
And that was my whole mindset during that time.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, that's so true. Like I look back at my videos and stuff and I'm like, okay, if I seriously tried to attempt doing like any of this, really, not only do I don't understand how I remembered all of that. First of all, like the mind, how did I just pick up on choreography, remember I don't think I could do that now. And then also like, obviously, like, I'm just going to keep telling myself that like I can do some of those things still, I'm not going to try because it's going to, be kind of like depressing.
Oh, I know. And I'm really rusty now.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we were doing, I could never do now. There's just no way.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you then transition from total dance world, living with a bunch of girls, being, getting like signing deals, like doing all these projects? What was like the moment that you got into skin?
Well, at the time when I was living in Los Angeles, I did not know or think to be an esthetician at the time. Growing up, I was always very oily. I had acne prone skin. I was always doing my skincare. So being in front of the camera, wearing competition makeup, constantly having your photo taken, you're auditioning, you have to have a good face, especially out in the professional world. So I always had issues with my skin. I was always going to the dermatologist. I was always on some sort of oral or topical medication for my acne. I just was not one of those girls that was blessed with like dry skin, like pretty skin. I just was not that girl.
I just had this flashback moment. Okay. Remember at lunch, we would literally sit there with those, what's the brand that we had those like oil,
it was
like sheets. They were blue.
I think it was Clean and Clear oil blotting pads or something.
Yes. And we would all have them in our bag and we would just like on a routine, like after lunch, whip them out and just share them with the whole like majorette team.
Yeah.
Because we like practiced during lunch. We would go outside, we would sweat, we'd have to go back to class, and we were like, this is horrible. So we would just blot all of our oil, like be blotting it all over our face.
And we had like competitions too, who had the most oil, and I definitely think I was up there, like as one of the winners. I never had a dry oil blot pad.
But then I think like back to that, I mean, obviously I know like we were in high school, but I feel like people that age now know so much more. I feel like everyone knows so much more.
Yeah.
Even though I'm in the skincare industry now, I just feel like everyone is so educated on it. And I'm like...
So educated, yeah.
I guess maybe that's social media, but... I mean, in high school, I knew nothing. I mean, and then that dance competition element to it, I was like spraying hairspray on my face to like make my makeup stay.
Same. Hairspray, like gel.
Yeah.
Like putting gel on like the corners of your hair.
Yeah.
For, for the makeup not to seep. And the stuff that they have now, I wish we had when we were
there was
dancing.
No like natural beauty conversation. It was like, here's some makeup, cake it on your face, here's how you do your makeup. And like I love makeup just as much as every other girl does, obviously. Love a glam moment, but like I remember being on the dance team and just having all these makeup classes, and we would all do it together, and it was like such a bond. Like my friends would come over, we would get ready together.
Yes, getting ready together was so fun.
Such a bond.
Yeah, such a bond.
We would spend, I mean, over an hour easily, like outfit, makeup, hair. I mean, just being like a girly girl. Like it was really fun. But
it was really fun.
I do think there is like this trend now of girls, I mean, not only at their age, but also at our age, like that natural beauty is a thing. But I like it. It's really cool. It's really cool for confidence, Absolutely. Like you don't feel like you're like you all have to look the same or like you're hiding behind something.
Right.
It's definitely more of like I'm just confident in my own skin type of look, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely didn't have that.
We did not have that at all.
No, that was not the same
There was
thing.
Competition, there was pettiness, there was jealousy.
Yeah.
And the way it is now, it was not like that when we were growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you got into skincare in LA, and then like what was literally the first step that you took that you had to like educate yourself?
Well, I was feeling really burned out from auditioning, and I had like a couple side jobs. You know, it's a tough lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
So I was feeling really burned out, and I have always been into skincare. I may not have used the best products at the time, but I was always taking care of my skin, even if it was with stuff that I may not agree with now. But I started Googling, like, getting your esthetician license. What does that mean? What does that do?
Wait, I love that. Google's how to be an esthetician.
Yeah, I was
that
like,
was the start.
literally, I remember I was working at a gym at the time, and I was working on the second floor, and I just remember like starting to plan my next chapter because I knew my dance days were coming to an end. I was very burned out with that.
You were just feeling like I'm on to the next thing, and I'm just gonna build my next like chapter out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how long is the schooling for?
So each state is different. California, I was in school for about a year and a half. It's 600 hours. But the one thing about school is that they don't really prep you for like life after you get your license. It's really,
I feel like that's like
anywhere. Yeah. It's just to pass your boards.
Yeah.
So I was in school for about a year and a half. I finished my hours, and then I took my boards. You take boards just like anyone else. You do a written exam and a physical exam on like a doll for technique, and you also do makeup and lashes and waxing, which is all part of the esthetician scope. Those avenues I did not go down. I was simply like facial skincare, and I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, so you knew that like from the very beginning and kind of what you wanted to like specialize in.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
And then did you get a first job in LA after that?
Yes. So my first job out like after school was at a day spa, and this day spa was called Burke Williams, and it was the best thing that has ever happened to me in my career.
Okay.
Because the training is crazy. Like they had their own training facility before you get hired, and you're not allowed in the actual spa to see clients until you finish their 3-month training program.
3 months?
3 months.
Okay.
And I was driving to Inglewood, and for anyone out there who doesn't know about Inglewood, California, but that is very far from pretty much where mostly everybody lives. So it was a long commute, but the training was so worth it. I learned more in those 3 months than I did in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, did you learn about like, was it customer service, or was it actually technical things about like the treatment?
It was everything.
Okay.
It was how to pick up your client, how to talk to them, how to walk them to the room.
Yeah.
Your consultation prior to the service, questions to ask, technique on how to do a facial. You had to learn all of their skincare products and every single ingredient that was in those products, because if someone had an allergy, you knew like what not to use. You also learned how to properly make sure that the client is comfortable in the spa bed, how to have the lights dimmed, the music. I mean, you learned everything from customer service, consultations, technique on the facial. They even had training on all the skin types, their concerns. You know, it was like school all over again.
Yeah.
But like better.
Yeah. Okay. So I love that they were going in for the discipline and like setting the bar really high. That's amazing. I mean, you know, you were lucky enough to have like a good job right out of the gate that like set the bar high, because then for you, you know, you were only going to go up, which is amazing.
Only up from there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. So like, it's really cool going back to dance, because I love to talk about like people's like path in life and like their career and how it's just like, you know, there's all these metaphors like stepping stones or like different chapters. I know for me personally, it's sometimes like when I'm talking to people, they're like, how did you go from this to that? Or why did you want to do this? And I'm like, well, it's a long story. Like, that's the truth. Like, it's not really an easy answer. It's just, I was in this one place in my life that kind of led me to the next place. And you kind of have to follow your intuition and you follow like yourself and kind of like your heart of what feels right at the time. Obviously balancing so many things, like thinking about your future, but doing what you enjoy and kind of having that like life is short mentality at the same time, which is not really how you grow up in a small town. It's a little bit more like, you know, a little bit more traditional for sure, like not to oversimplify, but it's like, you know, you have to maybe have more of a traditional career path. Like I didn't think that any of these things were going to happen in my life. I didn't learn any of this. This wasn't, esthetician was never like a job at career day. Like I didn't even know what that was.
I don't even think we had, I'm sure there were estheticians in our small town at the time, but like it was just
trying to think like
yeah, it's just not something that you went and did.
Right.
Like I never got a facial until I started thinking about making that a career of mine.
Me
just
neither.
because I wanted to learn about skin.
I was like begging my mom to go in a tanning bed.
Yeah.
Before
I
like
was
a school dance or something.
Definitely in a tanning bed.
Skin health was just not it was just not a topic.
Yeah. It wasn't a thing. It was about what makeup are you wearing and let's go tan and not wear any sunscreen.
Yeah, just whatever's trending at the time,
Whatever's
you know.
trending at the time.
So getting back to then dance, because I feel like this is kind of like the glue, like how you grow up. I do believe it like shapes you into who you are. So I love that you were so if you think about it, like dance really built you to be so confident going into that first job. And you're like, so what? I have to drive really far. So what? I have to go through this like 3-month protocol. Like you just got out of school. You probably can't wait to start your new job, but you are going through this whole training process again. But you looked at it as an opportunity, which is amazing, which not everyone would. So I don't know if you ever thought about it like that, but it's really interesting. You know, the fact that you were brought up and you dedicated to dance and you dedicated to working so hard, having dedication, showing up to class, even after you were tired from school. Like I just have so many stories of like I was begging my mom, like, can I skip ballet class today? I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I had a test today. And she's just like, no, like you have to go. You signed up for this class. You're supposed to be there. Your team is counting on you. Like you work in a team capacity in dance, but you also work solo. You build character. You build like that dedication where you're going to stick something through, and the confidence to, you know, just be like you're performing solo, you're performing in a group, but you're performing in front of a lot of different people. And you get that gratification, right? Like you practice something for so long and then you go on stage and you do it solo or as a team, it doesn't matter, but you feel accomplished.
Absolutely,
and you get to like get those rewards together, go to the awards ceremony, whatever, and then you go back and you start all over again. But I think that seeing life through that whole entire like loop after loop, it's like teaching you a lesson that you didn't even realize that you were learning, you know?
No, the discipline that you get from being in an environment like that, the character, like you said, the work ethic.
Yeah.
I have found that when I moved away from Ohio, there is no work ethic like Northeast Ohio work ethic.
That is so true. I couldn't agree more.
I cannot find that anywhere else. And my brother-in-law has said the same thing. He's just like, there's just nobody works like Northeast Ohio. Like we're workhorses there.
We are. Like it's like they say, salt of the earth, Midwest. Just, I don't know, down to earth people who are focused on what they need to do and they just get it done no matter what.
Get it done.
Yeah.
No matter
no
what.
complaining.
No complaining. And that's how we grew up with dance. Like, it was basically, if you don't want to be here, then there's the door.
Yeah, there's like 50 other girls behind you who would love to take your spot.
Exactly.
So, I always say, too, it's so funny, like, so for me, getting into, like, law school and stuff, like, taking that next step in life was, like, there's scary moments, you know, where people are like, you doubt yourself. People say, are you sure you want to do that? It's a big decision. Or, you know, your professors are going to be mean to you. Everyone's going to be really strict. Everyone's going to be really competitive. And like all those things were true and they were mean and they were competitive. But, you know, am I going to say it wasn't hard? No, of course it was hard, but I didn't care because I was like, nobody can be as mean to you as like your 5th grade ballet teacher. Like
No,
like,
it's so true.
Like, I feel like been there, done
it,
like,
been through
you can't
it.
hurt me.
No.
You, like, say what you want to say.
You're like so strong and solid,
Yeah.
and you're prepped honestly for the real world.
It's true.
They're like, you don't think about it at the time, like you said, but when you start getting into the real world, you're like, wow, like I'm prepped, I'm ready for this, and I can handle whatever comes my way.
Yeah.
Might be some bumps in the road, but that's life.
Nothing you can't handle.
Nothing you can't handle.
Yeah, I love that. So you were in LA and you're working at the spa, and what are you thinking? How's that going for you?
So I graduate the training program, and I got put into the Woodland Hills location, and Woodland Hills in California is near Calabasas.
Okay.
So, Kardashians, celebrity land a little bit.
Yeah.
And I loved the area that I was in. So I was like, I want to stay in the spa. I got put onto like part-time hours, but I did ask for more hours so I can be more full-time, so I can really build my clients. Yeah. That was my main focus, was to start building a clientele and for them to start coming back to me. Yeah. That's hard at first because they don't know you. They don't know what to expect. You're fresh out of school. You don't have much experience. So that was my main goal at first, was to just build a book. No matter how long it took me, I was like, I just want to build this. I want to build my clients, and I want to start getting my, my hands ready to go.
Of course. Like, you have to not let them see you sweat. You know, like, you have to just fake it till you make it. I mean, kind of mentality, because you can't have the imposter syndrome of like,
you cannot.
Oh, I just started or whatever. No, you went through the training, you went to school, you know what you're talking about, and your clients have to feel that, because they need to feel like they can trust you.
Yeah.
And that's how you build that like clientele that they have to come back to you, you know?
Yeah.
They're not just going to get a facial, they're going to see you. And there's like a big difference between that, for sure.
There's a huge difference between that. You have to be very confident in your treatment room. That is your treatment room.
Yeah.
You are the professional, not the client. And even if you don't feel that way, fake it till you make it. And that's where the dance comes in. Fake it till you make it.
It's true. Yeah. No, I noticed that with you too. Like, you get your client, you go back, you guys chit chat, talk, do the treatment for a whole hour. You bring them back up to the front. You have to guide them through their whole entire like process. And even through the point where now they're maybe picking out some skincare, they need to book the next appointment. Like, they need that very strong like protocol set by you of like that, like instruction. It is really like a prescription of how are you going to continue along your skincare journey? How are we going to get you to your goals? But they're constantly like, and you know when you're a good esthetician is like if they're at the front desk and they're like, well, Ashley said for me to do this. And Ashley said for me to do that. And it's like, they will just, do what you say. And that's amazing. That's when you've got to a good point where you can really lead them to where they need to go. Because there's too many distractions out there. Like, honestly, there is like all of this marketing with like all kinds of like celebrity skincare and just random skincare and random TikTok like things out there that they can get distracted. They need to just remember what Ashley said.
Just follow the instructions, and I can promise pretty much all my clients that we will get to where you want to be. You just have to do your part. Yeah. And don't go on TikTok and buy things. Yeah.
Don't go on TikTok. Just stay off TikTok.
Stay off TikTok. I get it. I love TikTok. I do scroll at night, but I'm not purchasing skincare off TikTok.
Okay, so but then we have to say what you have to tell me a TikTok like or a beauty trend that you saw that you do like. She's like nothing. No, I'm kidding.
That I do like. Okay, I will say this. I do like that people are just diving into skincare. They may not know if that product is right for them or not for them or vice versa. True. But the fact that they're even just diving their hands into being like, oh my gosh, look at this cleanser. Maybe I should get this cleanser or try this face mask. I want my skin to look like this. I think that is just kind of already a good route to go down.
They're interested. They want to better themselves.
They want to work on themselves. If they come to you
with that mindset, that's actually, I love that. That's a really good point. So tell me then, you're in LA, near Calabasas. you are getting some, like, I'm sure pretty like high-end clientele, some big expectations. You're still kind of right out of school, so you just like threw yourself out there. And how was that? Tell me about this like transition into like becoming a more like seasoned esthetician.
Definitely. Probably after my second year in the spa, I was really starting to get confident. My schedule was pretty full. And it was pretty much like that, pretty consistently booked all the way up until COVID 2020.
Okay.
And that's when things changed. But up until then, I was feeling really good. I was in my groove. I had my clients. I was selling the product. I was going to all these trade shows.
Fun.
There's a lot of skin shows in California, Long Beach, and then my mom and I went to one in Las Vegas.
Oh, fun.
We went for a full weekend, and she went with me, and we had like the best time. And I was learning so much, and I felt like that's when I was really confident in my groove, is when I was like doing trade shows, going to these classes, and then I would come back to work and just start hustling and seeing clients. And it was a good time.
Yeah,
it was fun.
for sure. I mean, there's a lot to learn, and not that I can like begin to appreciate it, but I can appreciate it a little bit because we went through, the VO trainings like together. Right. I was just at a luncheon with you for ZO recently.
So fun.
Like, yeah, the minute I think like, okay, I kind of know a little bit about skincare, I go to something like that and I'm like, never mind, I don't know. Like there's a lot of science behind it.
A ton of science.
And I can get my mind wrapped around, like a simple protocol. I kind of know like the order of everything now in a skincare routine. But you get all these like curveballs thrown your way. That's the thing. Everyone has a very unique, skincare concern. And so you need to be truly an expert to deal with those like different situations. That's when it comes in.
Yes. And especially the clients that we're seeing at VO Med Spa.
Yeah.
These are the clients that have more aggressive skin conditions and concerns, and we need to be fully prepped and educated on how to lead them and hold their hand along the way.
Yeah. So tell me about then moving to Florida, making that transition, and what was your training like with like VO Med Spa?
The training at VO Med Spa was very similar to the spa in Burke Williams in California. Okay. It was very educational, not so much hands-on, because they wanted estheticians who were already seasoned. They didn't really want the estheticians that really kind of needed that technique part of it. So the training was very educational, and that is when I started really getting into the medical and pharmaceutical grade skincare lines.
Yes. Okay. And I know you love ZO. Okay. Tell us why you love ZO.
I love ZO. ZO forever.
I know.
I really love ZO because it's a protocol line, and it treats the cells that are living, and it's a very dermal line. Like we're getting down to the nitty gritty with ZO. We're not slapping on like a nice moisturizer and it smells good and my face is soft. That's all fine. But for the types of skin concerns that I'm seeing here at VO, we really need a line that is pharmaceutical, it's medical grade, and it has results.
Yeah, results driven is like really key. Like, like you said before, like just listen to me and my instructions, follow the protocol, and we will get you there. And with ZO, it's actually it's quicker. I always tell people medical grade skincare has more active ingredients than it would if it was something that you just bought on the shelf at CVS or Sephora, for example. And there's nothing wrong with those products. It's just that they are not going to get you where you need to go.
Right.
Like they kind of say, like, do you want to walk or do you want to run?
Exactly.
But I do think it is important to note that like the medical grade skincare, you're buying it only at like a medical spa for a reason.
Yes.
Because you need to have some guidance. You can't just like pick and choose whatever you want.
Yeah, you can't just come in and be like, oh, I want to try this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Especially with ZO. It's such a corrective line, and if you don't know how to do it properly, you are going to do more harm than you are good because of how corrective it is.
True.
So you need consultations with these kinds of products. You need a skincare regimen, and it's a protocol baseline to get your skin healthy.
Yes.
It is about healthy skin. It's not about perfect skin. It's about healthy skin. And if you have healthy skin, then your skin will be close to perfection because it's functioning properly.
That's so true, because there's so many treatments that, you know, are esthetician based, but also other things that we do at VO Med Spa that are under that skin rejuvenation umbrella, which I've loved learning more about, because I just didn't really realize that there was this whole other world other than just like wrinkle relaxers, fillers, like things that are kind of change, you know, the shape of your face. This is like stuff that's not changing the way you look, except for the fact that it's making your skin healthier, like you said.
Yeah.
And it is just giving you this glow. So it's like literally the best way to describe it is like when you're out and somebody's like, you look really good. Like, what did you do?
Yeah. Oh, your skin is so glowy.
Yeah.
And
it's bright. It's
bright,
just radiant looking. And there is like a youthfulness to that. But to me, I mean, we're on the Pretty Please podcast, so I have to say, this is something that makes you feel pretty. Like when somebody just kind of compliments you like that.
Of course.
It's a very broad, just like, hey, you look good. What, you know, and they know that we're in the med spa industry, so they're going to ask you what you did. But you know, you share with them and they're like, oh, and these are treatments that everybody can do, by the way. Like everybody can do skin rejuvenation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So treatments like Morpheus, BBL Moxie, you know, we're going in with lasers, microneedling, we do skin pen. These are all things that are in conjunction with facials, with Glow 2 Facial, Hydrofacial. Getting your skin healthy is also a big way to get your skin prepped for these other treatments.
Exactly.
So they work hand in hand. See, I know something.
Yes.
This is what I've learned.
You know so many things, Ash. I mean, just in the year, look at your own skin.
Yeah, my little glow up in my year has been like really like life changing. I mean, truly, you got me there. You were my person to give me my facial, my first facial that I've ever had, like medical grade facial, not just like at a spa, before my wedding, and got me all the way to here. And I'm like, I will do whatever you say. Just show me what to do. That's what I do with everyone here. It's like, I'm like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it, because you guys obviously are doing something right. I want to talk about your wedding though.
Yes, my wedding. Oh my gosh.
You were just married in March.
Yes.
I was there. It was a rager, dance party, dance all night.
We did not stop.
I did not expect you to get off the dance floor, and you did not.
Never.
You were up there with like the feather dancers.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about the Ora Loca.
Okay, so I didn't even know what Ora Loca was until I moved to Miami.
Yeah.
Total culture shock. But I went to a wedding in April of 2024, and they had Ora Loca. And I was like, what is this? I need to have this at my own wedding.
So fun.
It was the best hour of my life. I had so much fun. And so we get home from that wedding, and I was on a deep dive the next day. I'm like, because I wanted that same company. Like, there's so many Ora Loca companies, but that company I had to have.
That specific Ora Loca, you need it.
That specific one. I was like, I need these dancers. I need this costume. Because, you know, with dance, it's a production.
Yes.
So I need the good people. I called the guy. I found the company. I call the guy, and I'm like, I have my wedding in March of 25, and I need to book you guys, and I need your best people. And I was like,
they need to be ready.
And they need to be ready. And I was like, I have people coming in from Ohio and California and Pennsylvania and Jersey. And I was like, I need the best people that you have, because I'm telling you, we have some people here that have never experienced this before, and I need it to be off the charts.
Yeah,
and that's how that happened. Yeah.
It was off the charts. It was so fun. I just loved seeing you up there, back in your element. Like,
I was
with the dancers.
So much
we're
fun.
doing the limbo. We were like doing all these dances. It was so fun.
We were having a blast.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So then obviously I have to talk about your skin.
Yes, the prep.
What's the prep? Tell me.
The prep, I prepped.
Yeah.
So I started a year out. February of 2024. I get engaged in December of 2023. But prior to my engagement, I was already on Zeo. I was already on like good home care. And one thing about me is that I will never not do my skincare. I could be out all night. I could be drinking. I will always wash my face. I will always do my serums, my moisturizer. I will always do my skincare. That is one thing about me. I've never steered away from that. Yeah. So prior to my engagement, I was already on Good Skincare. I was on the ZO line. And in February of 24, I started doing my first round of Morpheus 8 because that is a service where the results show up like 3, 6, 8 months later down the road.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get a head start on that. So I did another round of Morpheus 8 in, I want to say April or March of 2024. So I did 3 Morpheus sessions. You're supposed to do them typically 6 to 8 weeks apart. I think mine was at the 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then consistent home care throughout the whole entire process.
Yeah.
Then I started getting into BBL Moxie, and that was the game changer.
Okay.
That was the game changer. I had the nurse practitioner she did like the photo finish setting, and it was very fancy.
Yeah.
And my skin was just perfect on my wedding day.
It was.
It
you were
was glowy.
We love a good like sparkle, a little bit of like shimmer in there.
Shimmer.
Yeah.
And then I had the best makeup artist.
Yeah.
Who was my sister-in-law, and she is so talented. And I think my makeup looked so good because of the skin prep.
True. It's like the best primer. Like,
it's the best primer. It's the skin. I feel like your makeup will always look good, but the skin that's underneath is what's going to make it like from...
Yeah, you're like glowing from the inside out. Yeah, it's true. The makeup is just
amazing.
complementing the skin that you already have.
Yeah.
The beautiful face that you already have.
Yeah.
You're confident because of how you look before the makeup is put on.
Yes.
I think that that's so like helpful for
Yeah.
sure. I love that. So I guess I didn't realize that it was your sister-in-law that did your makeup.
Yes,
She's awesome.
She is so talented.
Yeah.
So if anyone needs their makeup done, contact me.
Amazing.
We'll get you in touch. But she's so talented, and she did my makeup for my engagement photos. Everything. So she's so talented.
I love that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I see a lot is like brides, and it doesn't even have to be your wedding. It could be like any special event, like maybe it's your daughter's wedding, or maybe it's a class reunion, anything that you have coming up that you kind of have like a hard date for. I feel like unfortunately a lot of people come into us a little too late.
Yeah.
And they want us to kind of work a miracle, and certainly we can help you as much as we can, but there is like always that element of you don't really want to change anything like really close to your wedding. So I love that you mentioned that you were on that same protocol, just doing day after day, the same thing, and that's that repetition that made it healthy.
Yes.
And it takes time. So
it does.
Everybody, just note that you have to come in a year is
12 months,
at least a year.
At least a year. If we could do a year and a half, even better. But the skin it's just not in the world of instant gratification.
Yes.
The skin is not an instant gratification journey. It's just not. That is just not, as humans, that's just not how our skin is made. And usually when we're treating more aggressive concerns for an event coming up, like acne or deep or hyperpigmentation like melasma, your skin typically will get worse before it gets better. Because there's no reaction, no repair.
That's true.
No reaction, no
like
repair.
The purging, or
you go through some purging, and you're adjusting to these new products, and you're feeling dry, and you're flaky, and you are not happy with how things are going. But that is how we have to get you to where we need to get you for your big event coming up, and that's why we always recommend at least a year, because we want to tackle anything that comes along the road, especially if you're more of an acne prone client. We have to start early.
You have to have time to go through that whole entire journey. That's
the whole
true.
Journey.
And if you don't have that time, then it's kind of just not going to be, unfortunately, maybe what you hoped for. But we'll do our best.
I will always do my best. Personally, myself. Like, even if I've had clients come in and it's on a Saturday and they'll be like, well, my wedding's next week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, so, light facial, some exfoliation just to get that dead skin off. Light extractions. I've never really been big on extractions before your big event, especially if I've never seen you before, because then we can really start to purge. Blue light, red light, those are all safe, routes to go down if that ever comes to rise. So we'll always make it work. But
keeping in mind that this is a medical grade facial.
These are not spa facials.
That's exactly. Yeah. So I love to make that distinction a lot of times to people. Like, what I think makes you unique and really like special about what you do is not only, of course, like your knowledge and your personality. You make everybody feel so warm and welcome in your room. I watch you all day greet guests, and from the moment that you meet them, it's genuine. I'm not in the room with you, but I've had facials with you, so I know like how knowledgeable you are and how you explain everything to people. And it comes off so genuine and so true that you actually want to help them get to their goals.
Absolutely.
And I think that also what is amazing is that your facial that you give is medical grade. So you get all this knowledge like poured onto you during your hour. You get to learn about what protocol and what treatment is specifically good for you. You get a consultation every time, but you also get to relax. You are like a chill girl, and you bring that element of relaxation into your room. You're like, here, you're in an LED light. Let me give you like a little hand massage. I want to make sure the music is going. I want to make sure it smells nice in here. We have like hot towel, ice globe, like whatever little frills you can put in, they really make a difference.
Absolutely.
Because when you go to a spa, you're getting a relaxation facial, which is always nice. Like, who doesn't love that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even though I may work at VO Med Spa now, but I still want to bring that day spa element into my room because it's nice. It sets you apart a little bit from maybe some other estheticians around.
Yeah.
Not everyone has like a spa touch, and that's what I learned in the spa training.
Yeah, you're like the perfect hybrid between the two, which is amazing because you're getting the best of both worlds with Ashley. Even in that, an hour seems like a long time, but it's not that long in the treatment room. I see
really
how you're like hustling all day back to back, and I'm like, that hour flew by somehow. I don't know how you got all of that in.
Once that LED light gets on you, it's like you have about like 15 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's end with like a speed round. This is going to be called the Glow and Go. So I'm going to ask you just some quick questions. It's like a this or that style, and you're just going to like kind of without thinking, just give me your answer. Okay, so esthetician with 11 plus years of experience. This is her official take on retinol versus vitamin C.
Ooh, retinol.
Chemical peel versus microneedle.
Microneedling.
Clean girl or full glam?
Clean girl.
I'm shocked by that. I thought you were going to say full glam.
Oh, no. Not at this age.
Like not at this age.
Not that I'm old, but...
Not when we're coming to work every day like this.
No. Tinted SPF, color science, like your set.
Yeah, little blush, little
lip gloss.
Yeah, you're right. All right. One product that you would take to a desert island.
The ZO Illuminating AOX Serum.
Yes, I love that product.
Protected.
I think that would be mine too. We would fight over it.
Yeah.
VO treatment that everyone should try once.
A VO signature facial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally customizable.
So customizable. We can really go soft with that, or we can really hit it hard.
Yeah. That's where you get to learn what your skin needs. That's the consultation. That's a good answer. I like that. Okay. Pretty means to me, from the inside, your character, how you treat people. I think you can be beautiful on the outside, but if you're just not a good person on the inside, or you're not very nice to people, then that's not very pretty. That's true.
That's not very pretty.
That's true. That's not very pretty. No one likes that.
No one likes that.
You're right. It does. It will shine through. It will radiate one way or another. You know, you look at somebody from the outside, what we see them now, and you don't really know anything about them on the inside.
Right.
But you will find it out. It will radiate through some way. So but you're speaking like the truth of how you act every day. Like, you are true to yourself. You are like a confident person, not only in what you do, but with the people that you're around. It's unapologetic, it's honest. So that's what makes you really good at what you do, but that's what makes you like a good friend also. So anyone who knows you, yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you, Ash.
Anyone who knows you just knows like you are just great to be around. You adapt to, even if it's a crazy busy day, like no matter what goes wrong, maybe like your client is late or, people are, just kind of, it's a demanding day. You are still floating through it. You're like, well, this is what I do. This is life.
It's life. And that comes where dance. Like
back to dance. Here we go.
Back to dance. That's where it all started.
Yeah.
That you have to learn to adapt and adjust and pivot and make your day as best as you can.
Yeah. That's true. And you have that job of making everybody's day better. Like a lot of people come into the spa and I see them in the front and they might not be having a good day.
Yeah.
And they come and see you and you got to turn it around.
We have to turn it around in there. Even if it means falling asleep for an hour.
Maybe like just a moment of silence.
Just a little nap, maybe some relaxation. Yeah. That's all you need. I mean, if my clients come out better, then I've done my job.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they always do.
Yeah.
Okay. Still using blank, time to throw it away. That's kind of harsh, but.
Still using. Oh my goodness. Okay. Still using. I would say clean and clear.
Don't say the oil sheets.
No, the oil sheets are.
Those are special
always
to
be
us.
An oil sheet girl. That's like childhood right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, not clean and clear. I would say if you're just still using. Oh gosh, I don't know.
So don't throw anything away. Keep it and use it on your body. Maybe
use it on your body. Yeah. If you are still using things at home that you still used when you were 13 or 14, let's switch that up. Let's say that.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if you're still using the same face wash and you're now in your 30s,
there's new stuff.
There is so much more stuff out there.
That's a good one.
And come on in for a consultation. They're free.
We'll show it to you.
And we can show it to you, or we can even guide you, even drugstore,
Exactly.
I really try to work with everybody. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a crazy request that somebody asked you to do.
I haven't personally gotten a crazy request, but I have had people who come in and they just want me to like burn their face off.
Like
and
a
I'm
chemical
like,
peel?
yeah, I'm like, okay, so do you want to do a chemical peel? They're like, I just need a new face.
They want it spicy.
And I've never seen them before, and I don't know their personal history, and I don't know what they're using at home. And I'm like, hold on a minute, like
pump the
brakes. We can get you there, but maybe not on the first. Maybe on the first visit.
Yeah.
Let's get you on some good home care and let's prep that skin for that. If you want me to burn it off, we have to get you healthy first.
We got to get ready for that.
We have to get ready for that.
That's funny. Okay, what is like a major red flag that if somebody goes to see their esthetician? Like when someone's looking for a new esthetician, what would be a red flag? Like something to look for or to not look for?
I would say if
maybe someone who would burn their face off on the first try.
I guess, yeah. I guess my red flag, if I'm someone who's looking for an esthetician, is if they're meeting you for the first time and those kind of like those contraindication questions are not being asked because you might not be a good candidate for what they're offering in their spa. So things like, what are your allergies? Are you on prescription retinoids? Are you on medications? What is your lifestyle? Do you spend a lot of time in the sun? Do you wear sunscreen every day? What is your home care like? Yeah. So I think if you're someone new and you're looking for a provider, that first initial visit is very important, because if they just throw you on the bed and they're not doing a proper skin consultation and they're not getting to know you first, then there are some red flags there, because they could potentially be doing services that are not good for you with your personal lifestyle, or you might have an allergy that they never asked about, and therefore now we're opening up a can of worms.
Yeah, that's no good.
That's no good.
Okay, so we talked about this before a little bit, but tell me one TikTok trend that you do not like, and tell me really quickly one that you like. Or just something that maybe a client told you about, like beauty care.
So one thing I hear a lot from TikTok is Medicube. And it's actually, I think it's a Korean line. I'm not too like educated on it, to be honest. But I see a lot of Medicube, and they have like these devices that you use on your face. So like microcurrent. I think there's like some gua sha there. My thing with that is that it's not going to work unless you use it every single day. Those kinds of things do not work unless you use them every single day. And a lot of people are not going to do that every day.
True.
So another thing I see on TikTok is like slugging. It's like putting a ton of like oils and heavy creams on the face. I don't recommend that. If you are more of someone who has dry, dehydrated skin, then that might work for you. But if you're currently like slugging, so it's like Aquaphor, and it's like these heavy balms that are on the skin, and you're acne prone and you're oily, or even if you just live in Florida, we are not dry here. We are not dry here. You know, it's just not good. I don't recommend.
Okay, so that's a no.
That's a no.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Ash. This has been so fun.
This was so fun.
This is just, next time, let's just hang out with martinis or something. And just,
we'll get the cats.
Bring the cats. I am, just so lucky, like I said, to be able to work with you and connect with you again. It has been really fun overall, just to see, like, how much you've learned and how much we're going to grow together. We still have so much to do, so much to learn together. So I'm excited for the future.
I am so excited. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun, and I'm looking forward to many more amazing moments together.
I could totally pick your brain. You know so much about skincare. Like, this is like gold this time with her. Like, I just want to ask her about like my skin. Like, I want to do a consultation now.
Her skin has come so far. It's thriving. So
if you want to book a facial with Ashley, you call VO Med Spa Fort Lauderdale, and she would love to give you a consultation and see what's going on with your skin, take you on your skincare journey. And I would call sooner rather than later. If you're a bride, 12 months out, remember.
12 months out.
But sooner rather than later, because this girl is definitely booked up, and she is in high demand. So we can all see why. Follow her at Skinpeccable on Instagram, and then you can follow the Pretty Please Show at the Pretty Please Show, and you can follow VO Med Spa. It's vomedspa.ftl if you want to follow along for more good stuff about all things health, wellness, beauty, and really feeling like beautiful from the inside out. More to come on the next episodes, and thanks for visiting.
Bye.
Bye.